mental illness, you don't know what's going through their head. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I've seen crazy people before, and they're all different. You know what I'm saying? Some of them think they're talking to George Washington. Some people think that they're battling against aliens like it's a damn video game or something. Accusing people of being lizard people, and there was a nut job who followed. There was a guy who followed two vans carrying the COVID vaccine. Here's a guy followed these two vans that had 11 unarmed military guys. I don't know why they were unarmed, though. That's the thing I don't understand. Why you got 11 military? I forget if they were reserved, but they were fully dressed in uniform. And this crazy person who was armed, by the way, of course, this guy followed two vans carrying the vaccine. They was carrying it to a medical center so it can be dispersed, by injecting citizens with the vaccine, as the plan goes, to distribute the vaccine. But anyway, a guy followed these vans trying to run them off the road. He tried to run them off the road. He then sped up, turned his car around, and came at him head on, like he's going to crash into him, and forced them to stop. They stopped. Like, whoa, dude, what are you doing? He held them at gunpoint because he thought that they had kidnapped someone. So this is what a crazy guy does when he has a gun, is he does something crazy. Here's a guy following two vans carrying the vaccine for COVID-19, thinking that they have kidnapped someone, and these vans were full of, apparently, of people in the armed forces. I forget what branch. I think they were in the Army. They were reserves, but they were unarmed. That's what the thing I don't get is, why are they unarmed? Why would you put all these guys? There's two vans, so you got 5 guys in one van and 6 guys in another, and none of them are armed. That don't even make sense. Why not have them be armed? They can't protect themselves. What are they going to do? Did they have shields in case someone tried to shoot them or steal the vaccine? And what if one of these nut jobs just tried to destroy the vaccine? Like there was one case a couple of months ago where a guy just took vials of the vaccine and just smashed them on the floor. He just threw them down to bust them and stomped on them. Listen, the one thing that's true that's going on these days is we're going to be overrun pretty soon with nut jobs. There's a lot of crazy people, and it's the crazy is growing. Like the crazy is spreading fast. I don't want to exaggerate and say it's spreading faster than the virus, because that's not necessarily true. But we seem to have a rash of incidents caused by crazy people. Now, some crazy people are just harmless. They just, believe in QAnon and the earth is flat and all kind of nonsense, but that doesn't hurt anyone. You just disagree with them and go on about your business. They're not crazy enough to shoot up a school because, or to shoot up, people thinking that these are lizard people or something stupid like that. So we're having a rash of incidents caused by people who are, mentally ill, to say the least. And it just depends on what degree of mentally ill are you to how much trouble you're going to cause? We're going to pause for station identification. We'll be right back right after this.
You're listening to a man who's almost intelligent, very close. Welcome back to Probably Offensive. One hell of a show. Yeah.
Welcome back. So, those of you who are saying and listening to this podcast, you are going to have a lot to deal with, because it just seems like people who are losing their minds. People are losing their minds. And it may be as little as saying something ridiculous that's idiotic and just not true. You know, they believe in the cabal, and that a lot of celebrities and Democrats were pedophiles and sucking the blood of children, and that Trump was rounding them up in a secret sting operation. Every time I say that, it makes me laugh, because to think the evil dummy is going to round up pedophiles that is what tells you someone is crazy. If they say just the average person or some politician who you barely know or ever heard of is rounding up pedophiles, you might be like, that's not likely to be true. But who knows? But to say Donald Trump is rounding up pedophiles, this guy is a horrible guy. He's not going to round up any pedophiles. He might even be a pedophile himself. I'm not accusing the guy. I'm just saying he's a terrible guy. He wouldn't care. Even if he's not a pedophile himself, he doesn't care. So, anyway, I digress. I'm getting off subject here. And the subject is crazy people. There are a lot of crazy people. And people who are just not 100% sane. So, like I've said before, you might just be 90% sane. And still, that causes problems. It might not cause a mass shooting, which is a huge problem in this country right now. People who are batshit crazy going and being able to legally buy guns. They don't have to try to get guns under the table or on any black market or buy them out in the streets, where, by the way, you could get caught buying guns illegally if you're not supposed to be able to buy guns. So if there was a law against someone who has a history of mental illness buying a gun, and they tried to buy it, because a lot of people will say, well, they still be able to get guns anyway. Let them try illegally. At least let's make a law so they'll have to try to get a gun illegally. They don't even have to try to get a gun illegally now. They can just get a gun legally and shoot up a grocery store. So people need to prioritize. I know that Republican politicians will lie to you and say, like Ted Cruz in this latest stunt he pulled, who, by the way, Ted Cruz is a big jackass. This guy is one of the biggest jackasses in the history of politics. Why and how in the hell people of Texas voted for a nasty, disgusting piece of filth like Ted Cruz? The guy is an awful jackass of a human being. First of all, you should be ashamed of yourself if anybody, and I've said this before as well, but if anybody calls my wife ugly, and I'm not even married, but just the thought that if I was married, whether my wife was ugly or not, if another politician, a dick-faced politician like the evil dummy Donald Trump, called my wife ugly like he called Ted Cruz's wife ugly, there's no way in hell, I would kiss this guy's ass and cooperate with everything he done. I don't care what the ramifications are. It's not like Donald Trump threatened to kill him. Donald Trump's not that kind of guy. At least you could say that about Donald Trump. No one's ever said Donald Trump, took a hit out on this guy or had somebody. Donald Trump doesn't do that. Okay, he does a lot of other dumb shit, but he doesn't try to murder people. Not that I have ever heard of anyway. Sure, if he did that, it would be reported. Someone would be happy to say, look at this horrible guy. But no, Ted Cruz lets Donald Trump say your wife is ugly on national TV in front of people. Everybody knows that Donald Trump said your wife is ugly, my boy. And still you kiss his ass. You lick the man's butt. You toss his salad. Every day that he was in the White House, Ted Cruz stuck his face right in Donald Trump's butt. Metaphorically speaking, he didn't, literally slam his face in the man's ass, but he may as well. He may as well. It would have been less humiliating probably if he would have done that than to sit there and do this man's bidding, agree with everything he says or does, kissing his boots, licking his butt. You're licking the man's butt, Ted. And then you turn around. Once your state has a big ice storm where power is knocked out and people are literally dying, this man flies off to Cancun and then lies and says, I was just going to drop my kids off down there and come right back. Stop lying. No, you weren't, jackass. You just got caught. You were going to fly down there and stay for 4 days and hope that the problem had been solved when you come back with the ice storm. And how this guy, this Ted Cruz, ever became a senator is embarrassing for the people of Texas. You've elected a jackass for a senator. I'm talking about he's more of a jackass than other jackass. There are plenty of politicians who are absolute dick faces, straight jackasses. But Ted Cruz is one of the worst dick face jackasses of all. He's the biggest one. So anyway, concerning this mass shooting in Boulder, Colorado, where the 10 people were murdered, Ted Cruz goes into the Capitol where the insurrection happened. That building is marked forever now as the place of the insurrection, which Ted Cruz invoked partially with his rhetoric of support for the evil dummy. But I always get off on these tangents because I just say one thing and it brings something else to my mind. But Ted Cruz just gave a speech where he said, every time we have a mass shooting, we play up this theater. And I'm thinking, first of all, it shouldn't be theater. It's not theater to say that people who have a history of mental illness should not be able to legally purchase a gun. Okay? He says the Democrats say that they want to take guns away from everybody. And that's a lie. The Democrats do not. And I'm not a Democrat myself, and I don't think anyone who's not a politician should be a Democrat or a Republican. I'm not just saying this about Democrats. I'm not just saying it about Republicans. I'm saying that no one, not one citizen in this country should be a Democrat or a Republican unless that person is an actual politician. Because if you're an actual politician, you're running for anything. You know what I'm saying? A board on the city council